good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Indeed, we want to welcome our brothers and sisters, our viewers, everybody all around the world. Welcome indeed to the Restoration Talks by Our Restoration, and we are back with another episode. Of course, you can watch us live on Facebook and YouTube, and feel free to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And tonight we'll be talking about servanthood. And of course, there were many servants in the scriptures. I think also might there will be many servants in the days today, in the days of old, in this era, in your family, wherever you are. But always remember that there are also wonderful examples also in scripture. So today we'll just look at from the angle of Joshua. So of course I have beloved panel members in my midst, so they are ready. I think yes, they are ready. So I want to invite them so that we can start right away.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo, hola.
Hi.
Hola,
I hope you
bien.
guys are doing fine, and I hope you had a nice weekend. A nice week actually, and the weekend's about to start.
Yeah.
And but first of all, I would, as you know, today we'll talk about servanthood. And there are many angles to servanthood. Some people might agree, some people will disagree. Disagree. Some people have their own goals. Some people don't have their goals at all. Or some might be sheep. Some might be shepherds. Some might be leaders. Some might be followers. But maybe there are some things that we can also give to our followers concerning servanthood. Maybe some different angles and so. So I'm really happy that you guys are here. I'm really curious. Do you know the story of Joshua?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give us a summary of Joshua, the life of Joshua.
Hey.
What question? Yeah.
Yeah, gewoon just. You say you people know this, the
And Helly, you want to go or should I go?
Come on.
Quick summary. So Joshua was the one that was assisting Moses when
Okay.
Moses was called to be a prophet leader unto Israel when they came
Yeah.
out of Egypt. After
Mhm.
Moses brought them to the promised land,
Okay.
is when Joshua took over and became their leader. He actually became the same function that Moses was to them, but he
Okay.
was the one that took over and he made sure that they conquered the promised land until he was old, and that was the end of it.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. In Africa, they would say, "Clap for yourself." No, no, well done, Helena. Do you have anything to add?
No.
No. Okay. No, but indeed, I think she said it all.
Yeah.
Indeed, Joshua was a renowned man. Basically, he was 80 years when he all started his journey into leadership and so. But many things happened before that. And yeah, I'm curious if people even in this era would even live the example that Joshua also portrayed in the days of old, or maybe it's outdated, maybe it's not of our time. So I have a notion for us. Indeed. The first one is, in order to be a leader, you have to follow someone else's dream. The floor is yours.
Yeah. I already saw this notion on Instagram and I was like, following someone's dream sounds really like you're really putting away yourself. Like,
It's too
totally.
harsh. Yeah.
Huh?
It's too harsh. It's so, yeah.
It's
You're
so,
not
yeah.
important.
Part of it.
Yeah, I found this one, I don't know, a kind of 50-50, because I do understand, like, if you want to become a leader, like there are certain steps you need to take, and becoming a leader is mostly also like leaders are, how do you say it? You need to be tough. Let me say it. To be a leader, you cannot like be soft. And
Mhm.
I can imagine that if you are following someone to become a leader, you have to follow. Sorry, right? You know that's to be a leader, you have to follow someone
Mhm.
else's dream.
Someone
I
else's
lost my
dream.
sentence. No, because I was like, oh, maybe I am
No, you were doing good. You're doing
thinking
fine.
from what I was saying. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
what I said. Like you need to be tough, so I can um imagine that maybe you going through the process, you might like
Mm-hmm.
do things you will not normally do for you, but at the end it will benefit you. Like I hope
Mhm.
you're like understand what I'm saying. So like that's my view on the notion, but I don't have a disagree agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
it's a bit nuanced. It's a bit
The
nuanced.
nuance, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Brittany?
I agree with Helena. I didn't think agree or disagree either. I do. Well, I do agree in the sense that I believe that if you work together with someone, maybe on
Mm-hmm.
that person's dream or person's role, whilst you are helping and assisting that person, you will also learn stuff. You will also get um, yeah, how would I say that, get the knowledge
Yeah,
um, to eventually accomplish your own dream as well. It could be in the sense of a leader, but I think what people oftentimes how you say that, underestimate. Mag ik, yeah?
Yeah, finish your
Oh,
sentence.
okay. I think what people often underestimate is how much influence the person has that
yeah,
helps the other accomplish that dream. Uh, what I was thinking about, you guys know vice president and president, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
The
yeah.
vice president helps the president actually in achieving or being
Yeah.
whatever he needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
But he exercises a lot of influence, and the vice president, in doing so, also gets the experience and knowledge to become
For president, yeah,
president maybe one day. So that's how I see it. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you people are following someone else's dreams.
Hmm.
Uh,
No,
no,
no, because you said you want to be a leader. That's a topic for later. That question I will ask later. But my question now, so you people are so following someone else's dream. But yeah, I want to be nurtured. I want to be influenced other people.
Mm. No,
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 No, eh?
not with
no.
uh, not with the idea of in order to be a leader.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes
Yeah,
someone wants to be something, and yeah, if you maybe have the experience or knowledge or certain qualities that can help that person achieve that
Yeah.
dream, why not?
One
One,
thing
yeah, not with an ulterior motive of yeah, I'll
to
become a
be a
leader.
leader. I think one thing,
yeah,
one thing that has always been presented onto us, of course, in the days of internet, social media, everybody is a leader. Everybody is of the forefront. We are all producers.
influencer.
There are no consumers. We all have to have our own businesses. We all have to have our own path, our purpose. We have to be on the front row and so. And it's funny. So would you say that leadership is for everybody?
Hmm.
Ja, elke keer
Hey,
krijg
Shalom, ik was die vragen van je hoor.
No, because that's what has been promoted nowadays. Talk about yeah, leadership, and then yeah, and now before you also have the feminine movement, but yeah, equal right. You have to
don't go
also.
so.
I don't do
No,
this.
I think everyone has his own qualities. I don't think like everyone can become a leader.
Okay, and how would you know if I'm a leader or not?
Of yeah,
Brittany, how would you know?
ik weet het niet.
Mm, yeah, Helena, we'll get back to you. Don't think. Uh, sorry, Shalom. Again, your question.
How would a person know that I am a leader or I'm not a leader? So basically, I have to follow someone else's dream, or I have to stick to my own dreams, or I have to park my
I'm not
dreams for a
sure.
while and have to follow them
Yeah,
later.
I'm not a leader. I'm a leader. That one I find difficult, but I think it would go back to that part of yeah, also the influence that you have over other people. How do you maybe say things? How do you direct them? How do you help them? How do you, when in line with the topic, how do you serve them?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you do well in those areas, I automatically people will start seeing you as a leader because a leader has nothing to do with yeah like let's say maybe in a business or something. It's not like leader here and just saying whatever the rest has to do, but you see that the best leaders are actually those that really help along with the people. So that
The
the
leaders
people,
who are also
yeah,
serving.
yeah.
Because one of the greatest leaders were rather the people who were basically serving others.
Mm,
And I think the
Yeah.
conception that we always had is from, oh yeah, you have to be a leader, have to be command and all these things. But the greatest people were once a servant. And I
mhm,
think that's also um, yeah, we have to realize, if I would gay, I would say that how would you know if you are a leader or not? Of course, I think everybody has an area wherein they have their influences and their direct influences.
yeah.
So, for example, if you will even look at a household, a woman have her direct influences, and in that she is. I would not use the word leader in that sense, but I think in that she has direct influence on the things that she can do and offer based on the roles and yeah, and the assignment that has been given onto her. Also, even for so
Yeah.
as a man, also so
Mhm,
for children, also for so for your own gifting. So people also cultivate their own gifting, and that is also, for example, some I know you people are wonderful singers. Sabbath Voices, shout out to Sabbath Voices. Check our YouTube pages. But in that you would also um, you are an owner of your own gifting, right? And your own voice, and in that you also have to cultivate and also share with others, because in order to share with others, you are also serving others.
mhm,
Because I think we also have a whole different perspective of leader is here and servanthood is here.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
um
That was on my mind.
how
Yeah.
would you redefine how would you then redefine servanthood to the
Redefine.
people? Yeah,
Mhm,
so for people to learn that of leader here, servant here, oh, the usher is here, they have to be a teacher, for example.
why the usher is here?
Yeah, then those
Wait,
are
wait,
the fine. No, I couldn't clean in the toilet or so fine. You don't know, that those are. I want to be the one in the forefront. So how would you then indeed redefine servanthood for people also to understand that it is more than only to be on the forefront? Maybe you can give some examples of your own life, so example from the scriptures or example for yourself. How would you
Mm,
redefine servanthood?
yeah, I would say, because indeed what you were saying is like that is nowadays how you see it in the church,
Hmm.
and so was I also brought in the church, but let me say, okay, then when I like went to the morning class Bible studies, indeed, like you have people on the forefront, like the leaders, but still they might be our leaders, but still you notice like in their way of leading us was different, like in the church. They are not like forcing us to do certain things. They're just, yes, they have opened the floor for us also to do things. So that was a difference um that I've noticed and experienced myself in comparison to like church settings. It's like everyone is equal, and like they always say like they encourage even us to be greater than them, and that's not something you hear a lot in the church. Like a pastor say, "But yeah, I want you to be better than me." I haven't heard that
Oh yeah,
before, to
yeah.
be honest. Maybe misschien gebeurt het wel natuurlijk, maar that's not something that is being encouraged a lot. And I think that a good leader will do that. for also you to, yeah, in order for you to grow. So I think that's also something that yeah, a good leader does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
A leader would also understand that servanthood is also really important for you in order
Mm-hmm.
also to grow and even surpass
Yeah.
um, um,
Yeah.
um, um, that leader. And going back to
Mhm.
the notion, then you're saying that it is good to follow someone else's dreams, or how would you redefine that again? Because then you're basically how I would say it is that I think I
Mhm.
would not say someone else's dream. I would say rather a common goal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I think that's because there's a reason why you chose that company. Let's put it in the early because there's a reason why you chose that company because maybe you need money. So that might also be a reason. But I think you know also some people just reject certain job offers because of ethical reasons. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
also in
Yeah.
the context of Elohim, there is something that we have to do, which is always to serve another at working in this kingdom. So I will not say it's someone else's dream,
Mhm.
but it's of course looking at what is your common goal, what is the common reason. Because I think if it was not of Elohim, we would not be here. Let's be honest. I would not know Brittany. Elena would know, but
Yeah,
Brittany I
well,
would know.
I knew you already, like everyone.
Yeah, I would know Elena, but Brittany, so yeah, me can.
No, I wouldn't know. I
So,
wouldn't know any one of
anyone.
you, like nobody, just like literally nobody. Or wait, that's a
Maybe.
lie. Maybe
But
one, maybe one,
Maybe what?
maybe one.
Okay, coming back to the question then,
Yeah.
Brittany, how would you redefine, or how would you define servanthood?
How would you define servanthood?
Basically,
I
actually redefine
think
because we have to unlearn what we understood.
yeah, I think the common definition is as you said, a servant is someone that's here, like a
Yeah,
low person of a low. Yeah, I don't want to use the word value. I really have a with that word, but of a low value. But I think that servanthood is people that make themselves like low. I don't even want to say small, but make themselves low in order to help someone else. um, I think that that is a definition, and because it shows your character, your
okay.
capabilities. There are people that
Mm,
really are good at stuff, like just good, and it's not even arrogant to say or say that out loud. Some
yeah.
people are just really good. Um, but then you see that though they have those capacities, they keep it like at a low level so that with the capacity that they have, they help others.
yeah,
So for me, that would be a proper definition of servanthood. I think when it comes to servanthood, the works itself will show.
Mm.
That's why a lot of people they're like, I'm the boss, I'm the leader. 9 out of 10 times, nobody sees them as the boss or the leader. But when you come from an angle of help or serving in that
Yeah.
sense, then you see that their view um, changes. If I can share something small about
sure, of course. Floor
Mm-hmm.
is yours, madam.
sometimes if I would
Yeah.
let me be very careful with what I'm going to say. Sometimes in the in the past,
In the past.
when I would um, work with others or maybe work in companies, well, not even companies, when I would just work with others in certain projects or something,
Mhm.
um, I just noticed that in the beginning you're young and you want to do everything this and you want to do it like this way and you tell everyone what to do. It's not the right approach. But if you come from a helping perspective, it really changes the view that people have of you, and then automatically they will move along in
Okay.
that sense.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
I think that for me at least, helps me or define what servanthood is. Sacrifice. That was the word I was looking for.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, that
Wow.
was. I was like, I was thinking about a word. I was like, okay, sacrifice. Yeah.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Wow. I
What is your view then, the shalom? Because you're asking us a lot.
wow. No, I
Sure.
think um, in order to be a good servant, I think you also have to believe the goal, the vision, that is also set ahead. Because some people can do it basically, but their heart is far away from the goal. So if you are in line with your goal, or if you are in line with the vision ahead, um, you would also search for availability, because servanthood is also to apply wisdom, right? It's not just,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
I can do that, and you will just do anything what you have to do. No, it's also looking at the context. Just I learned that context is everything. Based on context, you can indeed also yeah, properly navigate through the course of life and the situation. So I would
Hmm.
say servanthood is also is someone is everything every person should have in their heart. Otherwise, you cannot serve humanity.
Yeah.
Mm.
You cannot serve you cannot obtain. Um, I would say, if I would use the word greatness, I don't mean as in massive world influencers. You will have power, money, and all these things, but I mean basically greatness in the sense that you can really contribute and die empty. You know,
What do
you
you
have to
mean by
die
that?
empty. There was I think there was a wise man who said that the graveyard is the most richest places of the whole world, because there are
Mm.
many books unwritten, there are many ideas in the grave. People go with their with their qualities and their
Also.
yeah, home, basically with their qualities, with their purposes. They will just die, and that is
Hmm.
sad.
Yeah.
So what if you can just take it all out of you through serving other people? So I think in order everybody, every single person is in a sense a servant. So that's my stand on servanthood.
Okay.
Is a servant or should be a servant?
Yeah.
Is
What
and
do you mean?
should is a servant or should be a servant, because we would like people to have a servant, the heart of a servant, but
Servant,
not
but not everyone.
everyone likes to serve.
Everybody. Yeah, of course, because you have pride and yeah, true.
Yeah.
Should be, should be.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
also in line with my follow-up question.
Hmm.
And then it says one of the characteristics of a good servant is blank. Yeah, you may not.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain words we cannot use it. I just have some.
Oh,
Yeah, no, because we don't want humility and those answers. No, 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 no. Fun. So one of the characteristics of a good servant is humility. No, it's too easy. So
too easy.
basically, one of the characteristics of a good servant is, and people in the comment section, you may also surely answer. Please give it also in the comment section. Hi, Florence, by the way.
Yeah.
Hi, Flo. Florence also.
Hey, Florence.
One of the characteristics of a good servant is blank. You may not use the word love.
Okay.
You may not use the word peace. You may not use the
Okay.
word humility. I also
Okay.
saw one, and you may not also not use the words which were mentioned in the Instagram live.
Oh, what
Later
was
on, we
that?
will touch that.
I don't remember.
Okay,
Oh,
the
the
next.
words of the one that were used in the Instagram live were. Wait, give me a second. I do remember. Were willing to serve, obedience, and interceding for others.
Oh.
So these words you may not use it.
I'm a log off.
So yeah, basic. And if you have
One of
one, so
a
one of
good
the
servant.
characteristics of a good servant is blank. Take your time. There's no rush. You know, nowadays we want to rush giving fast answer. Just take your time. Think about
You have the music for thinking.
it.
Ding,
I
ding,
will sing.
ding,
I will
ding,
sing. I will
ding,
sing. I will
ding.
sing. I will sing.
Um.
Meanwhile, your guys are thinking. Now, people in the comment section, please also
Think with us.
answer, think along. Every Saturday we are here. Oh, I mean, every Friday we are here live at 7:30. Tomorrow we will also handle the topic servanthood in the context of Joshua. It will be then also on YouTube and on Facebook, and we'll start at 12 o'clock. So we'd love to see you there. Hey, people, think along. I don't think think in the meanwhile. So I hope you guys would be here. Oh, sister said sacrifice. Okay, I'll give you that. Patient. Hey, she have a lot. Hey,
Don't
Elena.
tell, but
I would
Tiffany, what
say
else?
being able to be um Oh, yeah, good listener to yeah,
Mm.
Listen. Mhm.
listen.
Hmm.
I think that's also a good servant
Okay,
because like
okay. No,
yeah,
because we will come later to that.
oh
Because
the
we will come
because
later
of
to that.
it. Okay.
Brittany.
Hmm. Uh, I'm really, really annoying. A good servant is selflessness. Yeah.
Mm.
Selflessness. Okay, okay. Sister says what?
Sister is going to mention all the.
What
Sacrifice.
did you say? Oh, I cannot see
All
the top.
scriptures, all the thing in the scripts. It's basically going to the dictionary at the back of the Bible and switching all these words. And then second said, but nice man, nice job. Yeah, man, yeah, man. Hey, sister, we have to invite you once, man. Yeah, man. One
Yeah.
day you should come here, man, because I see you have a lot of you have a lot to say. So she says sacrifice, patience, faith,
Mm,
obedience. Wow. Maybe you
yeah.
can also elaborate, sister. Sister, you have to say wow. You have to say sister.
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 The A is sister.
So Helena, would you say then have you then be a good listener as in, or I will not say I will not label as a good servant because maybe we might all be in the process of being a servant, but I would say Helena, would you say to yourself that you are a good listener?
Mm,
And how can
yeah.
someone be a good listener?
Inshallah. But, the questions. If I'm a good listener, yeah, I think I'm a good listener, and
Okay.
the reason why I would say that I'm a good listener is that when I talk to someone, I really listen to the person, and I don't easily like draw immediately a
Cool.
conclusion on based on what someone is saying,
Okay.
and I don't know if it makes it, but like when, for instance, when someone like give me advice or something, I also really like take my time to I just think about what people say, and I don't like take it like anyhow. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I've heard you,
Mm-hmm.
um so it's done. But I think also what is key, like sometimes you want to hear what you want to hear, but
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it comes to listening also is like you also need to be able to accept the things you don't want to hear. And I
yeah,
think that um also very important, because otherwise you would just be like, oh, that's not what I wanted to hear, so like skip.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that can
yeah,
be
yeah.
very crucial for if you want to do yeah, certain things in your life, if you want to change something. um so I would say,
Oh,
yeah, in way for others to you to be a good listener, also listen to the things you don't want to hear, but that will help, of course, yeah. Not negative things,
no,
because not
yeah,
everything
you have
that
to.
you you don't want to hear
Humor.
is
Yeah,
also good, because that's also something, yeah, that's also something, because
yeah,
I'm someone, people can easily come and talk to me about everything, and I notice
everything.
that
Yeah,
sometimes I have um ja, I would say struggle to om een grens aan te geven.
yeah, 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 yeah. To give your
Uh,
boundaries.
Give my boundaries, because some people like will come with their whole stories, like, okay, but that's not, it's
That's
none of
that's
my
not my
business.
business.
Like I don't, yeah, too, yeah, certain information are like too much. So that's
Yeah.
also, you need to find also like a balance
Okay.
in that. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Elena. Elena, thank you. Thanks for sharing, man. Thanks for sharing. I think this is really crucial
Yeah.
to be a good listener, because I would also say that if you cannot know the context of where you are operating as a servant if you not even understand the context and not even trying to listen to understand and to see
Yeah.
what the context is to what you are basically serving to. Wow. Okay. Brit. You said selflessness.
Hey.
Can you give an example?
Um, one of the characters. Sorry, because I think the question you asked Helena was a bit different, right? She spoke from herself,
Yeah,
so it
yeah. That's what
wasn't.
I said.
Oh, okay. So
So,
the question again, apart from the notion, is
can you give an example how you are working on that selflessness, or even are you a
oh,
selfless person?
Yeah.
um, Oh, it's a bit
selflessness.
weird to just say. So this will on the screen. Um, I would say I'm a selfless person, but it's also something I could or I can still grow in.
All right.
Um, when it comes to helping people
Okay.
or assisting, for example, um, sometimes I forget, like in the process of helping, I often think of, okay, how can it help a person? Or, okay, I see a person's maybe going through this.
Mm-hmm.
And what I tend to sometimes do is take it in. Like, I
Yeah.
really feel for a person. And out of that, I will maybe try to help a person to the point that I might forget myself in that process. That's maybe more from a, I wouldn't say negative, but from a more negative point. But I believe that when it is in quality that you should need for being a servant, because you're not in service of yourself. You're in
Mm,
service of you're in service of others. Um, and you sometimes have to forget about yourself. Sometimes you have those decisions, right, where you're like, I actually do not want to
Don't
do
know
this.
what
This
to.
goes against me.
Yeah,
Maybe you recognize that as well, Hela, like
yeah,
this
true.
goes against what I want, or maybe my boundary, as we just discussed. But
Yeah,
let me help the person. It's from a good quality. So maybe in your case, listening, or my
yeah,
case, selflessness. It's from a good quality, but you should find a proper balance in that. Otherwise, it can become a, in Dutch, they say valkuil. So
mm-hmm.
yeah,
it's a very strong quality, but it can become a valkuil. But for to be a servant, you're in service of others. So oftentimes you're going to help others. You're going to do things. Maybe you find people annoying. Maybe you find people this, that. But you're going to try to
yeah,
help them anyways, because you see that there's someone that has a need for something. And then in such times, you cannot really think of yourself. So that's what I would say.
yeah. That's yeah,
Thank you for sharing. I think implicitly also answered the question to what could be beneficial also for for the listeners to know the importance of selflessness. So thank you for sharing. I would
yeah.
also say sister said something in the question box. How do you keep that balance, Helena? So I think this is for you, without being rude to someone, especially when someone comes to you with their story. At sister who said good listener. I also wanted to answer, but she said it's specifically for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You have to answer the question.
um,
How would you
um,
keep that balance? Because people are talking a
yeah.
lot,
That's
talking
a
a lot,
so-
talking a lot.
um. Yeah,
Or
that's
what
a good
practical?
one.
Or mhm.
I was thinking if I was thinking about maybe a conversation that I had, but I think the boundary part is still something that it's still um, a struggle. It's still there, but I think the way you can like cut off on conversation, not and not being rude, is like maybe um, je geeft gewoon een samenvatting van het gesprek. So like ja, samenvatting. Wat is samenvatting ook alweer in Engels?
A
Summary.
summary.
Or you give a summary of the conversation, and then like you give your part, and then maybe switch to another topic, so that or you start like giving examples from your side, and then like you can have a closure. But that is something you can do when
Mm,
someone is giving a lot of information. Then you can like cut it off, but like, so what I'm hearing is this and this and that, and like I hear you, and um, maybe I have experienced something like in that way, and then I can share my opinion or my testimony, to say it like that, and then you can like round it up or and go and talk about something else,
yeah.
because otherwise if you don't have like that in between summaries and questions, then it will be it will be
And
a lot.
certain people also just want to gossip, for example, and that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
also not
yeah,
true.
something you
Some
want
yeah.
people also
to
want to
talk about.
gossip, and if
Yeah,
yeah,
they
and
just
if
want
people want
to.
to gossip, like I mostly say I don't know, or it's not really my business.
Mm-hmm.
I would just
Yeah.
say like everyone does what they like to do, and then
Mm, mm,
cut it
mm,
off.
mm.
So
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
way,
yeah.
but it's still something. Right? It's not easy for me,
It's,
but
it is not easy. It is not easy at all.
yeah,
Um, Sista said, "Go on," so we don't need to add anything. What
Oh,
go on.
okay.
He said she's satisfied, so
Okay.
we don't need to give any. We don't need to give our own perspective. But A Shine said, "A forgiving heart." Let's talk a bit about that, and then we'll round it up.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
So base. Uh, wait, before we go to A Shine, I just want to
Yeah.
just attention to Sista. Does that also say something about you as a person when people come to you? Yeah, I think that's Elena also answered that a bit in the beginning. Maybe she want to
Oh, she has added
mention it.
something. She said, with
But,
something you don't like.
Oh,
oh,
I like the comment section. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah, fiery.
fire, really fire, very fire.
um,
Amazing.
yeah, I
So
think
that so does it say something about you as a person? Because people come to you to everything, but also something that you don't like. So I think what she's trying to say is also that if people can come to you talking
yeah,
basically to gossip with you, maybe you have the tendency of also
that's
gossiping because
five. Yeah,
sort, how do we say?
yeah, true.
So does it say something about you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'll give. I
for
think,
example.
but yeah, no, people mostly just come with their, yeah, just their life stories, like what they've been through. Okay, I'll give one example. It was like years ago I was working, but like, but also right now I'm working night shift a lot, so I don't have to deal with people. But that's
Wow,
also a strategy.
it's a
Okay, you don't
strategy.
deal with people.
Yeah.
No,
Ah.
no, you have more rest. You have more rest. But
Mhm.
that's one thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
I had once that some girl, she was coming with her relationship problems and stuffs, and at a certain moment I was like, sorry, I can't help you. I haven't been in a relationship before, I know you might going through stuff, but yeah, I cannot really say anything like to help you or something. But that was a conversation I was like, no, okay, this is like going out of hand, because she was like spreading details and so on. I was like, this is not of my. I don't know. Sorry.
It's
Like, okay,
none
you
of
have a
my
problem. Okay,
business.
but she was just going. She was just speaking, but that was because I wasn't stopping her. So
Mhm.
she was like, okay, she can just talk.
She just want to
So that,
vent.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a young girl, yeah, and it's
Eh,
like it's a long time ago. I was also young. But the problem, I wasn't cutting her off.
I'm
She
laughing
was
a bit.
just talk. She was just, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what to say, and I was like, okay, how can I cut this? I didn't know how to cut it
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
yeah. So that was an example like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
If I can
yeah,
ask something,
Sure.
uh, because the question said, does it something say something about you? Well, I think, as we actually said, it shows a characteristic of you caring enough for that person, or like
yeah,
wanting to help that person. But it can become dangerous when, as you said, you don't have those boundaries. You are
Boundaries.
yeah,
getting filled with a lot of information as well, and if you're not someone that can push it off, sometimes some people take it along with them.
yeah. True.
Sometimes I also have these discussions with a sister, and then I always tell her, like, what helps is sometimes just literally asking what the need is of that person. So
Mm,
literally, do you want advice? Do you want to vent? Do you want? Oftentimes they will say it out of themselves. So for example, if I'm just full, I just really want to release, for
yeah,
example, or like, yeah, I don't know how to do this, so maybe it is an advice question. So because if you know that for yourself, then you know how to properly answer. If you know you vent,
mm,
and maybe at that moment you don't want too much things, you can just say from, like, yeah, at this moment I don't really have the space for that. I would really like to help you, but I can't take that in at,
yeah,
for example. So if you know with what goal they're coming, then you can put filters or boundaries for yourself and block them directly.
Direct.
yeah,
If that
Wow.
yeah.
So one of the
yeah,
characteristics of a good servant is to listen, but set your boundaries.
Hmm.
Set your boundaries. Indeed, does this advice and information add me to
Yeah.
where I want to go, to my to my purpose, to my does it add up to my values? If not, it is also good to say no. I think that's also one of the most of the hardest thing what a person can say here on earth.
Yes.
You just
Mhm.
say
Yeah. Agree.
no. Um, Now let's then end with forgiving heart. That's te moeilijk. Wow. Wow, forgiving heart. One of the characteristics of a good servant is a forgiving heart. So basically, er staat geen wraak willen nemen. So not taking any revenge. Not taking any revenge. I think it is, of course, it's easier said than done.
Then done. So it's so
Um,
easier.
but I think it's also that's why it also says a good servant is not a process people have to I'm
No,
missing something.
I have to laugh
No, no, no,
because
no,
of
no, no. I'm
Elena.
missing
No,
something.
no, no. I'm
People are having
laughing because of Elena.
experiences.
I'm laughing because of Elena.
Oh, Nene Shalom, please stop.
Yeah.
Usually, I'm
No,
sharp. I'm sharp.
continue.
I'm sharp.
No.
So
Say,
you people are
say,
having
say.
revenges, huh? Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
No,
no,
Yeah.
no, no.
no,
Me?
no.
Oh, no, no, no. Brother, please.
Maar nee, dan zeg je gewoon die me. Want
Then you, oh, yeah, okay.
die me was gelijk van,
And
hè?
but
Nee,
let's be
nee, nee,
honest.
nee.
Let's be honest. We all live.
Ja.
Nee.
I cannot imagine that people will live their whole life without having no grudges, without
Nee,
having
that of
no,
course.
because we are all human, right?
Mhm.
And it is. I would not say it's okay to have grudges, but it is, um, it is human to experience such things. But I think the most important thing is also what I wanted to say. It's also language. What I want to say. I think it's also a process in order to be a servant. It's not one day thing, not
Yeah.
30 days thing, not 1 month or 6 months or 1 year, because you have really have to serve over and over, doing things against you. People are will disappointing you. Humanity is just made to disappoint other people. So how would you then even continue in that flow and road and that goal in order to attain that higher purpose or the reason why we're, and of course in our context you would say to serve Elohim, because in the church zeggen ze ook voor altijd van yeah, I don't mind what people say, I'll do this for Elohim, I'll do this for Elohim, I'll do this for Elohim.
Yeah.
But along the line you would see that they would say the statement, but the heart and the
Yeah.
actions or the traumas, their pain, it's still within them.
Mhm.
Um, so maybe we can round it up to with this last question for you people. Also, for what would you then give to the listeners concerning being a servant, but not serve with grudges? Brittany, Helena Tokolo.
You.
Inshallah, wow. Um, should I go or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brittany.
for giving heart? I think that it also has to do with what we said in the beginning. If in your head or in your mind you have that idea of a servant is low, sometimes people will also treat you that way, which can also bring forth that feeling of being angry, maybe
Yeah.
bitterness, or not letting that go. It's not easy at times letting things go because, to be very honest, I shared it with you guys as well. I've been through it as well. Sometimes you're so set on, yeah, but this and this happened to me, or that person or this person did that to me, and in when you stay in that mindset, what a lot of people don't realize is actually the only thing you're talking about in your head is you. It all
Yeah.
like evolves around you, um, and you really have to get out of that mindset from it's all about you. Sometimes someone also gave the advice like it's not as if people wake up with the attention to do something bad. Some people do; those are really evil people, but most people
Yeah.
don't. You know. Um, so, in order for you to serve, and as the sister said, have a forgiving heart. I believe that you always have to remember and stay humble in the sense of you have also been forgiven for a lot, like literally a lot. And I believe that that is the perspective that Elohim also wants us to have, like
Yeah.
believers. I believe that's the story that I used for myself when I had like really like bitterness, revenge feelings. It's not fair. The scripture, first of all, says, "Vengeance is mine; I will repay." So that means that
Mhm.
if there's something that has been done to you, um, sit still, because what you're going to do is not going to bring any righteousness, anyways. Let Elohim deal with it, the situation or person, and also the Messiah himself. I know it sounds very spiritual when we speak about the Messiah, but it's often the example that's being used that we should become more like him, have the mind like him. And he has gone through terrible things, friends betraying him, denying him, selling him out. The people that he healed, helped, and everything were the same people that said, "Crucify, crucify," such things. But he never had that bitterness in his heart. So we should try to get to that point as well. It's not easy. It takes time. Quite frankly, if I can be really honest, sometimes I notice it in myself as well, and I have to switch my mind of, whoa, that was a really bitter or angry thought.
Hmm.
But if you, at least if you can say that to yourself, then know that you're in the process of, you know, growing into that forgiving heart. So
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I wanted to say.
thank you very much. I would like to end up with a scripture. I think it struck also to me when you mentioned it, saying that Hebrew 5, indeed, verse 8. It says, though he were a son, even the Messiah, we're talking about Joshua HaMashiach, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect. He became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him, called of Elohim, an high priest after the order of Melchizedek. So indeed, the Messiah also learned obedience through suffering. He also had to compose himself. He also had to, have certain level of self-control. Though he was stepped down, people betrayed
Yeah.
him in multiple ways, and we call him always the greatest servant of all time. So indeed, so people, brothers would always say, "Let's calm down our hearts. Calm down. Calm down. calm down.
Well, why do you
Calm
say
down.
calm
Calm
down
down.
though? Why
We
not
have to
calm
calm down." So thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much, and I hope the listeners will also have a good day. That they will also be also to tomorrow. We'll talk more about this 12 o'clock. So please be there. We'll be live. So thank you very much for joining today's talk. Of course, keep an eye on our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Every last Friday of the month is the Dutch edition for our Dutch people. So this is next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure to watch tomorrow's show, radio show, concerning the topic servanthood. We'll have a deep dive in the life of Joshua as an example. So tune in at 12 p.m. This was it for today, fam. And I would say, see you next week.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.